Welcome back. Jim Rome with you on this Tuesday morning, or good afternoon. All right, if you're on hold, stay there. As promised, we are joined right now by the Pro Football Doc. He is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. He spent 17 seasons as the head team physician for the Chargers. You can find his analysis at Sports Injury Central and their website, sickscore.com. Dr. David Chao is my guest. Doc, you're on the air right now. Good to have you. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you, Doc. So let me ask you about Bronny. Really, really scary stuff. In your opinion, can you describe exactly what's going on here and what likely happened to him?
Well, look, all due respect to Bronny, I want to provide some background and optimism. Yes, as you said, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. But what I really do is, as a former head team physician for the Chargers, if something cardiac happened, it would be my role to interpret what happened and let the team know and family know, et cetera, kind of playing ombudsman. And it's kind of what we did during Damar Hamlin and we came on your show for. So what we know right now is confirmed cardiac arrest on Monday morning. The great news is the family has now said that he is out of the ICU, which means he's no longer intubated with any breathing tube, if he ever was, and he's making great progress. Not to compare directly to Damar Hamlin, but remember, he had a breathing tube for 3 days or more, was in the ICU for at least 4 days, and was in the hospital for 9 days. Bronny's on a much quicker path, and let's hope he stays on that path.
We are talking to Dr. David Chao. So he's in stable condition. The two situations are very dissimilar. Does this mean that he is in the clear?
Well, look, the first few moments are the most important, as we saw with Damar Hamlin. And so far, what sketchy news there is good. And I'm not here to try and speculate. But look, the good news is that this didn't happen as he was practicing in the park outside or at a high school gym. This happened at Galen Center on the campus of USC, which means that it was likely supervised with athletic trainers and or other people. So quick action. Certainly you don't have NFL sideline 25 people there, medical professionals, but at least there was the one that could go into quick action. And that hopefully helped Bronny quite a bit. Whether an AED was involved was speculative at this point right now. But interestingly enough, Rome, that last year in July, there was a freshman center for USC that had a heart issue and collapsed and was taken to the hospital and a cardiac arrest. And I'm not saying the two situations are exactly similar, but he returned to play basketball in January of this year, about 6 months later.
We're talking to Dr. David Chao. So you just hit on two things that I wanted to ask you about. Number one, how unusual is an episode like this for somebody that age?
Well, there's different epidemiological statistics, and this is why it's very important to do pre-participation physicals. And look, the number can be as high as 1 in 50,000. And the predilection is for young, male, bigger / taller athletes. And epidemiologically, it's more common in Black males. And this is why not all high schools have the ability to do cardiac screening, certainly not echoes, certainly not always EKGs. I don't know if he's had a full screening physical for USC yet, but this is what happens certainly at the NBA combines, NFL combines, et cetera, when it's spare no expense. So it is a phenomenon that's out there, and there's several different potential causes for it. But yeah, I mean, you think about it, 1 in 50,000 young male athlete basketball players, that's not a small number.
No, it's not. Dr. David Chao is joining us. I mean, so his immediate health obviously is the most important thing. But if we were to project, what does this mean to his career overall? Purely speculation and hypothetical, but if we just have that conversation, what does it mean to him overall going forward?
Well, even for Damar Hamlin, based on film, witnessed, we were the first at Sports Injury Central to say commotio cordis, which later been okay. And we waited 9 days until he left the hospital before we did any analysis or published any analysis on return. But we said after Damar Hamlin left that the option to return to NFL football will be open to him, whether he wants to or not. And that obviously has now happened, and he is returning. At this point, to stay optimistic, and I'm not trying to be speculative, the man's still in the hospital still, is my understanding, although not in ICU, which is great news. I'm very hopeful that the option to return to play will be open to him, but that really depends on why it happened. The number one reason is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Number two reason would be some sort of anomalous coronary artery. Number three reason, electrical anomaly, conduction. Not trying to be all medical, but it really depends on why and what happened and why it happened. But fingers crossed, things are looking good so far, and we can just hang our hat on that right now.
No doubt. So before I let you go, what else should we know about the situation and what's next for him?
Well, what's next is, obviously, he's out of the ICU. He's not intubated. Is to get out of the hospital. Then what's next is any follow-up studies that he needs as to what caused it. And then hopefully a ramp up to normal life, and then perhaps consideration of sports. So really what we try and do, Rome, and that's why you have me on here, is provide some analysis of where this might be. Right now, all we have is just the one report, and everyone's wondering and everyone's praying for his good health. And hopefully we're providing some framework and optimism. As we always say at Sports Injury Central, we provide injury analysis, not injury reporting. And hopefully this gives people some hope that he might be okay. And let's hope he continues along this path quickly.
So, Doc, this is really good information. I appreciate that. Are you going to track this story yourselves on Sports Injury Central? And for those who are not familiar with the site or maybe forgot where it is, where should they go?
SICScore.com. We have a good summary article of the causes, how common it is, some of the really good questions you have. We talk about that freshman center from USC last year. We talk about Pete Maravich. We talk about, the Hank Gathers, how this relates. And it's a good summary for people who are curious about this situation to get some information at a time that's where everything's very up in the air.
Excellent information, Doc. Appreciate it very much. And once the football season comes around again, which is right around the corner, I know we'll have more conversations like this too. Thanks so much, Doc.
Look forward to it.